Hi, and welcome to a tutorial on JavaScript. In today's tutorial, I will be covering conditional statements. Before we jump into conditional statements, if you have not watched my previous video on comparison operators, I would recommend you go back and you watch that tutorial. Also, before we begin, we need to understand logical operators. Logical operators allow us to connect two conditions together for the code to be executed. What I mean by that is if we have an AND operator, which means we're going to have a condition 1 and we can add another condition, and both those conditions have to be met for the code to execute. If we have an OR operator, one of the two conditions have to be met for the code to execute. The AND logical operator is a symbol of two ampersands together. The OR logical operator is two bars next to each other. So now that we have an understanding about logical operators, let's jump into the tutorial. Let's create a variable called age. Let's create our first conditional statement with an if. Conditional statements will be if, else if, and else. I will demonstrate this to you as we walk through this tutorial. The if doesn't necessarily have to have an else, but it can. It also doesn't have to have an else if, but it can. So the if can actually be off on its own, but an else if and an else has to have an if statement before they can execute. So the if condition that I'm going to create today is age less than 18. Then in this block of code, which is defined by the curly brace, we're going to do a document dot get element by id dot inner html equals you are not an adult yet. Now in the body, let's go ahead and let's create a div. And we're going to call that div an ID of demo. This is where our output's going to be. So right here, we're going to put demo. This is our first condition statement where age is less than 18. So if the variable age is less than 18, this code is going to execute. We can then do an else if by typing else if, and then in parentheses, we're going to create our conditional statement. And we are going to do age is greater than or equal to 18, and this means that both of the conditions have to be met for this code to execute. So age is less than or equal to 63. So this means that age has to be greater than or equal to 18. It also has to be less than or equal to 63. We're going to do a document.get element by ID to print out you are an adult. You are an adult. Get the semicolons to end that statement. Now we can do an else. And the else we're going to do is document.get element by ID. We're going to print out you are a wise adult. The else condition does not require an actual condition. What it says, if no condition is met, then do this code. So if none of these conditions are met for the if condition or the else if condition, then the else condition is going to print. Now that we have that, let's come down to the body, and I want to do a form. And in that form, I want an input. It's going to be a type equals number with an ID equal to age. Go ahead and close that. Let's create a button. Let's go type equals button. Let's add an on-click handler to that. And we actually need to come up here and put a function into this. So let's put the function down here first. So the function name I want is age conditional. Now that we have that, let's come up. Yeah, don't forget to close the button. Put a value of submit. And we're going to type age right here. Okay, now up here we're going to write function. The function name is age conditional. And we're going to stick this condition inside of the age conditional function. Let's indent all this to give it proper formatting. All right, now we need to do a document var age equals document dot get element by ID dot value. This is going to allow us to take the value from our input. The input is, or the ID is age. After that, we need to convert this to a number because it's going to be in a string. We do that by doing age equals number with a capital M, and then inside of the parentheses, we're going to add age. This will change it into a number. Let's go ahead and save, refresh our page. We now have a form where we can put an age in. Let's put 3 in. Let's hit submit. As you can see, it now prints you are not an adult. The reason being is it came in, it stored the number 3 into age, and then it compared age to 18. Age is less than 18, so it printed out this block of code. If we put 18 in and hit submit, it says you are an adult because it came in, it looked at this first statement and said, is 18 less than 18? It was false, and because it's false, it went on to the next block, which is the else if condition. It then compared, is age greater than or equal to 18? Yes, age is greater than or equal to 18. And age is less than or equal to 63. 18 is less than 63, so it executed this block of code. Now if we type in 64 and hit submit, we get you are a wise adult. The reason being is because it went to the first block, or the first conditional statement, and it did the comparison. The comparison was false, so it went on to the next comparison. This next comparison was also false because age is 64 and it is greater than 18, but age is 64 and that is not less than 63. So it moved down to the next block of code, which is just an else. So it printed out you're a wise adult. So in closing, I have taught you logical operators, the and or operators. I have also taught you the conditional statement, which includes an if statement, an else if statement, and an else statement. Thank you for watching.